God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, because this moment is not about pressure, it is not about rushing, and it is not about fear of missing something, it is about awareness, it is about recognizing that something meaningful is unfolding in your life right now, even if it does not look obvious at first." Many times you expect opportunities to arrive in a loud and clear way, something big, something dramatic, something impossible to ignore, but God says that the most important opportunities often arrive quietly, hidden within small changes, subtle realizations, or moments where you begin to see things differently than before. You may have been waiting for something to change, waiting for a sign that tells you that you are on the right path, and in that waiting you may have overlooked the small shifts already happening around you and within you. There have been changes in your thinking, changes in your awareness, and changes in the way you understand your life, even if you have not fully noticed them yet. God says that these small shifts are not random, they are part of something bigger, something that is slowly preparing you to see opportunities that you could not see before. There were times when you felt like nothing was moving forward, when it seemed like you were putting in effort but not receiving clear results, and that may have made you question whether anything was actually changing at all. But God says that growth is not always visible in the moment, sometimes it is happening beneath the surface, in your thoughts, in your understanding, and in your ability to respond differently than before. What once confused you may now feel clearer, what once overwhelmed you may now feel manageable, and what once felt impossible may now feel like something you can approach step by step. You are beginning to develop a different kind of awareness, my beloved soul, an awareness that allows you to notice details you once ignored, to recognize patterns you once did not understand, and to see possibilities where you once saw limitations. This awareness is what opens the door to opportunity, not something external appearing suddenly, but your ability to recognize what is already in front of you. God says that this opportunity is not something you need to chase desperately, it is something you need to notice, something you need to approach with calm clarity instead of urgency. When you rush, you miss details, when you overthink, you create confusion, but when you remain present, when you observe without pressure, you begin to see things more clearly, and in that clarity, the next step becomes visible. You may feel a subtle sense that something is changing, a feeling that things are not exactly the same as before, and even if you cannot fully explain it, you can sense that you are moving into a different phase of your life. This feeling is important because it is guiding your attention, it is helping you become more aware of what matters, and it is encouraging you to stay present instead of getting lost in unnecessary thoughts. God says that you do not need to fear missing anything, because what is meant for you will not require panic to find it. Instead, it requires awareness, patience, and the willingness to see things clearly. When you are calm, when your mind is not crowded with worry, you naturally become more aware of what is around you, and that awareness is what allows you to recognize opportunity when it appears. There is also something within you that is becoming more confident, even if you do not fully notice it yet. You are beginning to trust your thoughts more, to rely on your understanding, and to feel less dependent on constant reassurance from others. This confidence is not loud or obvious, but it is steady, and it is growing with every moment you choose to stay present instead of becoming overwhelmed. God says that this moment is not about doing everything at once, it is about paying attention, about noticing what is already changing, and about allowing yourself to move forward step by step without pressure. The opportunity you are being guided toward is not something far away, it is something that becomes visible when your awareness is clear and your mind is calm. So take a breath, my beloved soul, and allow yourself to slow down. Do not rush ahead, do not try to force understanding, just remain present and observe. What you are looking for is not hidden from you, it is simply waiting for you to see it with clarity, and as you continue to stay aware, you will begin to recognize that this moment is not random, it is meaningful, and it is guiding you towards something that aligns with your growth and your path. God says, stay present with this realization, my beloved soul, because what you are beginning to understand now is not just about opportunity, it is about readiness, it is about becoming aware enough to recognize what is already unfolding in your life instead of constantly searching for something far away. There were times when you believed that opportunities only come when everything is perfectly aligned, when you feel completely ready, or when the situation looks exactly the way you imagined, but God says that real opportunities often appear when you are still growing, when you are still learning, and when you are not completely sure of everything yet. You have been moving through a phase where your understanding has been changing, where you have been questioning things more deeply, and where you have been trying to figure out what truly matters to you. This phase may have felt confusing at times, because when your awareness grows, you start to see things differently, and that can make you feel uncertain for a while. But God says that this uncertainty is not a sign of being lost, it is a sign that you are becoming more aware, that you are moving beyond old patterns, and that you are beginning to see your life from a new perspective. There were moments when you doubted yourself, when you questioned whether you were capable of handling something new, and when you wondered if you were ready for the next step in your life. But God says that readiness is not about having all the answers, it is about your willingness to move forward with awareness, to learn as you go, and to trust that you can handle what comes your way even if you do not know everything in advance. You may begin to notice that the way you respond to situations is changing, that you are thinking more before reacting, that you are observing more instead of immediately judging, and that you are becoming more patient with yourself and with others. These changes are important because they show that you are developing the kind of awareness that allows you to recognize opportunity clearly instead of being overwhelmed by it. God says that opportunity does not always come in the form you expect, sometimes it appears as a small decision, sometimes as a new perspective, and sometimes as a moment where you realize that you can choose a different path than the one you were following before. These moments may seem simple, but they carry the potential to create meaningful change in your life when you recognize them and act with clarity instead of hesitation. You have also been learning how to let go of unnecessary pressure, how to stop trying to control every outcome, and how to allow things to unfold naturally. This shift is important because when you are not forcing things, you are able to see more clearly, and when you see more clearly, you are able to make better decisions. God says that clarity comes from calmness, not from urgency, and the more you allow yourself to remain calm, the more you will begin to understand what steps feel right for you. There is a growing sense of trust within you, my beloved soul, even if it is quiet and subtle. You are starting to trust your thoughts, your instincts, and your understanding more than before. You are beginning to feel less dependent on external validation and more connected to your own inner guidance. This trust is what will help you move forward when opportunities appear, because it allows you to act with confidence instead of doubt. God says that you do not need to be perfect to move forward, you do not need to wait for the perfect moment, and you do not need to have everything planned out. What you need is awareness, presence, and the willingness to take a step when something feels right. Even small steps can lead to meaningful changes when they are taken with clarity and intention. As you continue on this path, you will begin to notice that things start to align in a more natural way, not because everything becomes easy, but because you are approaching your life with a clearer and more balanced perspective. You are no longer reacting out of fear or confusion, you are responding with understanding, and that changes how everything unfolds. So remain calm, remain aware, and continue to trust this process, my beloved soul. You are not missing your moment, you are moving toward it with each step you take. The opportunity that is meant for you will not require you to rush or panic, it will become clear when your mind is steady and your awareness is focused. And as you continue to stay present, you will begin to see that what once felt hidden is now becoming visible, and what once felt uncertain is now beginning to make sense in a way that feels real and aligned with your path. God says, "Remain steady in this awareness, my beloved soul, because what is unfolding within you now is just as important as anything happening around you, and in many ways it is even more important, because your inner clarity is what allows you to recognize, understand, and move toward the opportunities that are already beginning to take shape in your life." There was a time when you felt like you needed everything to be certain before you could move forward, when you believed that clarity had to come first and action would follow later, but God says that sometimes clarity grows as you move, sometimes understanding deepens as you take small steps, and sometimes the path becomes visible only when you are willing to walk it with awareness instead of waiting for perfect certainty. You have been in a phase where your thoughts have been shifting, where old patterns no longer feel as comfortable, and where you are beginning to question things you once accepted without thinking. This can feel unsettling at times, because when your awareness expands, it can create a temporary sense of instability, but God says that this is not something to fear, it is a sign that you are evolving, that you are no longer limited by the same perspectives, and that you are beginning to see your life from a deeper and more conscious place. There were moments when you hesitated, when you felt unsure about taking a step, when you questioned whether you were ready or whether you might make a mistake, and those moments are natural, they are part of growth, but God says that hesitation should not stop you from moving forward, it should only remind you to stay aware, to move with intention, and to trust that you can learn and adjust as you go. You are not expected to have everything figured out, you are only asked to remain present and to take steps that feel aligned with your understanding. You may begin to notice that opportunities are not always separate from your daily life, they are often woven into it, hidden in conversations, in ideas, in small decisions, and in moments where you feel a subtle pull towards something new. These moments are easy to overlook when your mind is distracted or overwhelmed, but when you are present, when you are aware, you begin to notice them more clearly. God says that awareness is what turns ordinary moments into meaningful opportunities, because it allows you to see what was always there but not always recognized. There is also a growing sense of responsibility within you, not a heavy or stressful responsibility, but a conscious awareness that your choices matter, that your focus matters, and that the way you respond to situations influences the direction of your life. This awareness is empowering, because it reminds you that you are not simply reacting to life, you are participating in it, you are shaping your experience through your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. God says that you are learning how to balance thought and action, how to reflect without overthinking, and how to move forward without rushing. This balance is important because it allows you to remain grounded while still making progress. When you are too focused on thinking, you may become stuck, and when you are too focused on acting without awareness, you may feel lost, but when you find balance, you move with clarity and purpose. You may also begin to feel a quiet confidence developing within you, a confidence that is not based on external validation but on your own understanding. You are starting to trust your ability to navigate uncertainty, to make decisions, and to adapt when needed. This confidence is not something that appears suddenly, it grows gradually, with each moment you choose awareness over confusion, with each step you take despite uncertainty, and with each experience that teaches you something new about yourself. God says that the opportunity you are being guided toward is not something you need to chase with urgency, it is something that becomes clearer as you remain present and aware. It may not look exactly the way you expected, it may not follow the timeline you imagined, but it will align with your growth, with your understanding, and with the path you are naturally moving toward. So stay calm, stay focused, and continue trusting this process, my beloved soul. You are not standing still, you are moving, even in moments where it feels slow or uncertain. Each step you take with awareness is bringing you closer to what is meant for you, and as you continue to move forward in this way, you will begin to see that what once felt hidden is now becoming clear, and what once felt distant is now within your reach, not because it suddenly appeared, but because you are now ready to recognize it. God says, take a moment to fully absorb this, my beloved soul, because you are now standing in a place of understanding that you were not in before, and even if everything around you has not changed instantly, something within you has shifted in a meaningful way. You are no longer looking at your life with the same confusion, you are no longer reacting to everything with the same uncertainty, and you are no longer waiting for perfect clarity before allowing yourself to move forward. Instead, you are becoming aware, you are becoming steady, and you are beginning to trust the process that is unfolding within and around you. There was a time when you believed that opportunity would come as something obvious, something that would clearly stand out and require no thought, but now you are starting to see that real opportunities are often quiet, they appear in moments where you feel a subtle sense of direction, a small realization, or a new way of seeing something that was always there. God says that what is different now is not just the opportunity itself, but your ability to recognize it, because your awareness has grown, your understanding has deepened, and your perspective has become clearer. You have been learning how to let go of unnecessary pressure, how to stop trying to control every outcome, and how to allow things to unfold naturally. This has created space within you, space where clarity can exist, space where your thoughts are not crowded, and space where you can actually see what is in front of you without distraction. This space is important because it is what allows you to recognize the opportunity that is aligned with your path instead of getting lost in confusion or doubt. God says that you are also beginning to trust your own timing, to understand that you do not need to rush into things out of fear of missing out, and that what is meant for you will not require you to act from a place of panic. Instead, it will become clear when your mind is calm, when your awareness is steady, and when you are able to see things without the noise of overthinking. This trust is what gives you confidence, not the kind of confidence that is loud or forced, but the kind that is quiet, grounded, and stable. You may begin to notice that your decisions feel different now, that you are not as easily influenced by doubt, and that you are more willing to follow what feels right to you instead of constantly questioning yourself. This is not something small, this is a sign that you are becoming more connected to your own understanding, and that connection is what allows you to move forward with clarity instead of hesitation. God says that everything you have experienced has been preparing you for this moment, not in a dramatic or overwhelming way, but in a steady and meaningful way. The challenges you faced helped you become stronger, the confusion you felt helped you become more aware, and the moments of uncertainty helped you learn how to stay calm even when things are not fully clear. All of this has contributed to where you are now, a place where you are more ready than you realize. There is no need to rush, my beloved soul, there is no need to force anything, and there is no need to feel like you must figure everything out right now. What matters is that you remain present, that you stay aware, and that you allow yourself to move forward step by step. The opportunity you are being guided toward will become clearer as you continue to stay in this state of awareness, and when the moment comes, you will recognize it not with confusion, but with a sense of calm certainty. God says that this is your time to trust yourself, to trust your awareness, and to trust the path you are on. You are not behind, you are not missing anything, and you are not unprepared. You are exactly where you need to be to see what is unfolding in your life, and as you continue to stay present, you will begin to understand that this moment was not random, it was part of your journey, part of your growth, and part of the way you are moving toward something meaningful. If you feel this message connected with you, take a moment right now and type, "I am ready," in the comments, not for anyone else, but as a reminder to yourself that you are aware, you are prepared, and you are open to what is unfolding in your life. And if you believe this message can help someone else see things more clearly, share it with them so they too can recognize the opportunities around them.